Hello, everyone. This is Keith coming back at you, not with my 2021 Week 9 NFL predictions, not this video. I'm going a little different today. Today, I'm going to talk about, as a Titans fan, Derrick Henry. Probably the number one or number two thing in the NFL right now is his injury. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone is throwing this kind of scenario and that kind of scenario out there. And listen, this sucks. Okay? I'm just going to bottom line it for you guys, and then I'm going to go through the silver lining. But the bottom line is this sucks. And I was saying it, we were overusing them. Do I think that had something to do with it? A little bit. A little bit. I do. Not a lot. I'm not going to put the full blame on the coaching staff because I think they made the right move in, giving Henry that trust and saying, hey, listen, if you're good enough to go, you're good enough to go. And I'm not saying they shouldn't trust Henry with those kinds of decisions because Henry's running on pure adrenaline. Now, the media, Stephen A. Smith, all of these media members coming out and saying, quote unquote, Tennessee's season is over. No, not by a long shot. The season's not over. It's just beginning. Listen, going into this treacherous 4-game stretch, starting with Buffalo, I looked at the schedule and I said, damn. And this is with Derrick Henry. I said, damn. If we can squeeze 2 wins out of here, just 2, if we can either beat Buffalo or Kansas City and then take out Indy and then lose to the Rams, I'm happy. We're 3-0 in that 4-game stretch, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I know we had Derrick Henry, and I know what he brings to the team when it comes to the play action and when it comes to defenders in the box and all of that. But let's not get too carried away here because Kansas City's defense is bad. They weren't stopping anyone anyways. We essentially won that game, and Derrick Henry wasn't that much of a factor. We also beat the Colts, and Derrick Henry wasn't that much of a factor. Okay? What did he total? Almost 60 carries for just over $150, if that in total in those 2 games. Come on, this season's not over. Yes, it's going to change the way defenses look at Tennessee, but let's throw you some numbers, okay? Tennessee's got a 3-game lead in the division and a tiebreaker over Indianapolis. Okay, let's look at let's worst case scenario this. Okay, Derrick Henry's out for 6 to 10 weeks. Right? Right. We know that. I'm content just letting him sit for 8, 9 weeks. Don't rush him back at the 6-week mark. Because I look at this schedule here. Titans schedule. Let's assume. Let's go ahead and assume. Because I know everyone likes to just kind of do that. So, let's assume the worst. Where is it? All right. Okay. Let's assume the worst here. Our next game is against the Rams. Loss. Okay, I know you want to. It's Sunday night. You want to so badly. I think they'll keep it closer than people think. This is a loss, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we're 6-3. Next up, we have. I'm going to do this in sections. So, Rams, I'm just down chalking that up as an automatic loss. And then there are 50-50 games, and then there are wins. 50-50 games without Derrick Henry. I look at these next 3. Saints, Texans, Patriots, right? Saints, Texans, Patriots. The Texans are a gimme. We're home against Houston. That's a gimme. So let's skip the Saints for a sec, and let's just chalk up that as a W against the Houston Texans. At that point now, okay, we're 7-3. Saints Patriots. I can see us splitting these games. The Saints don't have Jameis Winston, and the Patriots, I'm not a buyer yet. Without Derrick Henry, we can split those two games. But this is a worst case scenario video. Let's say we lose both, okay? Let's just say we lose both. So now we're 1-3 in our next 4 games, with our 1 win coming against Houston. What's that make our record? We're 6-2 now. That brings us to 7-5. Okay, we have our bye week. Jacksonville at home is a win. 8-5. We're 8-5. We're 8-5. Okay. At Pittsburgh and then San Francisco, this is a similar situation to Saints Patriots, right? Those are 50-50 games. But again, let's go ahead and say that we just lose both. Let's just say it. Let's say we fall apart without Derrick Henry and we lose all of our 50-50 games. At Pittsburgh, home against the Niners. Which game should we win? We should probably beat the Niners. But like I said, let's just say we lose both. So we are now 8-7. Okay? I know, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. Our last 2 games are against Miami and Houston. Miami and Houston. We're bound to get one of those games. Let's say we get one and we lose to, like, the Dolphins. Because why not? Let's say we beat the Dolphins, actually. Okay, so now we're 9-8. We are 9-8. And now the number one question on your mind should be, well, what's the Colts schedule like? Okay. Here we go. The Colts are 3-5. They got Jacksonville. Well, they got their bye, it looks like. No, they're playing the Jets. That's right. They're playing the Jets on Thursday Night Football. Win. They play the Jags next. Win. Oh, I know what you're thinking. Oh, God, here they come. The Colts are 5-5. Hold up. They are after these 2 games, these 2 gimmies, they are at Buffalo and against Tampa Bay. 5-7. At Houston, 6-7. Patriots, let's just say they win, 7-7. At Cardinals versus the Raiders. Say they lose, say they beat one of them. Say they surprise one of those 2 teams. That's 8 losses, people. That's 8 losses right there. They lose the tiebreaker to us. So if Tennessee crumbles, we lose all our 50-50 games, and the only games we win are Miami, Jacksonville, and Houston. The Colts still need to go 7-2 in their last 9 games to beat us. And they still have games against Tampa, Buffalo, at Arizona, and Vegas. Do you see them winning 3 of those games? Let alone not the possibility of still losing to a team like the Patriots, or even losing to a Jacksonville. The Jets could beat them. Don't know. You don't know. And I know you can say that, you can make that same argument with Tennessee. You just don't know. But I'm telling you, we're gonna be fine. Stop letting the media and your worst case scenario in your mind and, oh, our season's over. Our season's not over, people. It's not. Now, realistically, we lose to the Rams. Now, I gave you the worst case scenario. That's the worst case scenario. We lose to the Rams, 6-3. Skipping a game, we beat Houston, 7-3. We go 1-1 against the Saints and Patriots. That's 9-4. Jacksonville, 10-4. Pittsburgh, 10-5. Wait, no, I did the math wrong here. Let's try that again. Rams, say we lose 6-3. Houston, 7-3. We'll say win against the Saints, 8-3. Patriots, 8-4. I think we go 50-50. Patriots, Saints. We're 8-4 going into the bye. Jacksonville, 9-4. Pittsburgh, 9-5. Niners, Dolphins, Texans, 10-11-12. Guys, we're still a 12-5 team. We still have a chance at this bye, this 1 seed. Buffalo, yes. I think Buffalo could get it. We hold a tiebreaker over them. If they stumble once or twice and we win another game, maybe we shouldn't win. The meat of our schedule after the Rams is done. The meat of our schedule is done. Is there anyone that scares you after this Rams game? I'm not scared of the Saints. I'm not scared of Houston or the Patriots. Hell, I'm not scared of Pittsburgh. At Pittsburgh is the hardest game left on this schedule. Are you scared of that offense? Really? We're still a 12-5 team, I think. 11-6 most likely. The division race is over. Derrick Henry, rest him. He will be back. I predict the division will be wrapped up by week 16 before we play Miami. That's my prediction. I think, before the last week. I'll say at Houston. The division will be wrapped up before our week 18 game against the Texans. Say maybe Miami clinches it, right? Say it goes that far. Derrick Henry will be back by then. I say you give him a couple carries against Miami. Just a couple, nothing really too crazy. And that's it. Even if we have the division wrapped up after we beat the Niners. If we beat the Niners. Just give Henry a couple carries. He'll be back. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 8 weeks in. After 8 weeks. His timetable is 6 to 10. With how Derrick Henry takes care of his body, I could see him coming back sooner, but I don't want the coaching staff to rush us. I will never forgive this coaching staff if they allow him to come back after 6 weeks. I just won't. Now, let's get into Adrian Peterson a little bit. Because I love this move. Okay? I love it. And I'll tell you why. Adrian Peterson is a very specific puzzle piece. Okay? He needs to fit into the right system and the right offense. The Lions were trying to use a square peg and a circle hole with Adrian Peterson. The Lions don't know how to run the football. The Lions' offense last year and years prior was focused around Matthew Stafford in the passing game. They didn't use the run. Teams weren't afraid of play action against, the Lions. And he's still balled out. He's still averaged almost 4 yards a carry. Detroit's a bad football team. A bad football team that doesn't stick with the run when they're losing. That's just been Detroit since Barry Sanders. And he's still balled out. With Washington, shitty offensive line. Can you tell me the last time Washington had any semblance of an offensive line? He ran behind that. And he still got over 1,000 rushing yards 3 years ago, 2018. He got over 1,000 rushing yards. I think this was the season we lost Alex. No, that was 2019, I want to say. No, I think it may have been 2018. Let me check. Alex Smith injury. Okay, this was in 2018. I think at this point, Washington was 6-3. Adrian Peterson is a capable back, and I will say this. You look at the teams he's been on. You look at the situations he's been in. He has never been put in situations to succeed over his team jumping period. Okay, maybe you can argue the Saints, but he didn't fit the Saints. Again, it was a square peg, circle hole with New Orleans. They didn't know how to use him. Everyone was talking about how big that move was. They didn't know how to use him. They barely gave him any carries. And then they traded him to Arizona, and he did work for Arizona. But then again, Arizona in 2016, awful team. Washington before Alex Smith, awful team. Lions, awful team. This is the best team Adrian Peterson has been on since the 2009 Minnesota Vikings. One could argue Minnesota throughout the early 2010s, they were a wild card team. Minnesota was no Super Bowl discussions. All right, Minnesota was always in playoff contention discussion, never Super Bowl discussion. Tennessee's in Super Bowl conversations this year. And Adrian Peterson is walking into an offense as a square peg with a square hole. Because that's the type of offense Tennessee runs. We revolve around the running game. Scheme blocking. All right? Offensive line, set up play action, run. That's what Tennessee does. And Adrian Peterson has that skill set to still draw defenders into the box. And Ryan Tannehill still has the ability to use his legs. All right. So that said, Adrian Peterson, I think, is big. I think he's really big for us. And like I said, Derrick Henry, he didn't do much these last two games. Okay? I mean, would we be here without him? 6-2? No, we wouldn't. We wouldn't have beaten Buffalo. We wouldn't have beaten Seattle. That's 2 wins that Derrick Henry thrust for us. All right? Huge wins that he caused. Who's to say Adrian Peterson can't, will us to victory? Listen, guys, it's a long season. The AFC South, listen, is all but wrapped up. It is. It just is. Root against the Colts. Maybe they'll stumble against one of these lesser teams. But I don't see the Colts beating Tampa. I don't see them beating Arizona. I don't see them beating Buffalo. They lose those 3 games. If they lose those 3 games, Tennessee just needs to win 3. And we can. We have 9 games left. You're asking us to go 3-6 to wrap up the division? Yeah, it's done. And we'll get Derrick Henry back for the playoffs. We might not have home field advantage, or maybe this team will surprise us. Maybe we will. Maybe we will have home field advantage. I doubt it. It's good to hope. But we'll have Derrick Henry back for playoff football. And I said going into this year, as long as, I don't care what seed we are. I don't care what seed. Okay, unless we're the 1 seed, I don't care where we are. Home field, yes, is nice. It's great. If we have a healthy Derrick Henry in the playoffs, I like our odds against anyone. Timetable is set. He'll probably be back unless there's complications with the surgery. Fingers crossed. Derrick Henry will most likely be back for Tennessee this year in time for playoff football and fresh. So this could be even a blessing in disguise. So we'll see what happens. That's me trying to bring y'all back down to earth because the sky isn't falling. The season's not done. We're just getting started. And our Super Bowl aspirations are still there. Nothing's changed. Get well, Derrick Henry, and thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys all next time.